So why did you start or become part of the First Light journey? Did you sense the Lord leading you into it? Was it purely an economical decision?
I think that's a good question. It was not an economical decision. I mean, I think if anyone who starts at a business, I mean, I want to say again, it's a team thing.
Right.
I at that stage, the Lord had really transformed my way of thinking about finances from He is my provider, and I have to go back to that truth often. He is our provider, and where He positions us for influence, He will provide for that. And so it could be through a job that He does that, but the reason that He's positioning me there is not for finances, it is for influence, for the sake of His kingdom to come, and that He in turn is still the one that provides those finances. Right. So I think that helped me in making that decision. So it wasn't an economic decision, but in all honesty, I just was reading the Gospels, and I remember I was sitting in Clara's house, I was reading the Gospels over time, and I just realized that Jesus befriended people who didn't know Him. Right. Like who didn't believe or who were not rule followers or whatever. And I just realized I had no unbelieving friends. And I just began to ask Him, like, how can I have that? And that's when He started to challenge me about using what I have and what are my passions, what are my gifts. And at that time, I was trained by Wayne, and I had always had a passion for coffee, and I just loved actually the natural space that it created for connection with people. And that was actually the thing that catalyzed the journey of First Light for me. At the same time though, so obviously our walks with the Lord are very intricate, but I just want to give an insight into one thing. I was sitting with Joy in Kenya in 2015. We were leading a team at the time, and we were actually, prayer had already been started being built into my exploration with Jesus. And it was really funny, for some reason coffee had at that time as well. And I remember asking the Lord, what is your purpose for my life? I feel like we're always asking that thing. And I remember Him saying 3 things. I think I cycled through that question once a year. Like at least. But yeah.
I cycled through it a couple of times a year.
And then I remember asking Him, and I remember 3 things, and that's still 3 things that I kind of lean back to. And that was before I met Hein. And our callings would collide, and actually we would see it unfold as it is now. But it was prayer, worship, and coffee were the 3 things that the Lord just said to me. They weren't like detailed things, it was just those anchoring points. And it was almost like He was saying, it was an invitation to say yes. And so the more that I leant into that, the more that I said no to other things, and the more that I found myself in First Light. So it wasn't like this, it didn't feel like this dramatic.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is the Lord really clearly led you, and that's also the motivation for why you started it, was people. Coffee was part of that. So it was a very missional way in which you started becoming part of this business and what's happening here.